it's Jill with Jill Barber Living, and welcome to my porch. I figured that since we're going to be talking about vacation today, it might make sense to be in a little more open atmosphere. And even though the leaves here in Minnesota haven't quite caught up with the fact that it's spring, it's a beautiful day here, and I wanted to share that with you. So I added a little bit of my own greenery from inside, and we're going to talk today about taking your vacation. So the first thing I want to ask is, do you take all the time that you earn, all the time off that you earn at work? Or does it make you shudder to think what you might have to come back to after being gone for a few days? Or do you wonder what people might think about you for taking time off? Or just fear the mountain of work that builds up while you're gone? I have to be honest, in 25 years in the corporate world, I have always taken all of my vacation. And which it's kind of interesting because I don't see myself as a rester by nature, but I do place a very high value on my freedom and my free time. So even if I happen to be busy during my vacations, it feels much different when I'm doing things that I choose to do versus going in to be working for someone else. What I'd also like to say is that throughout my career, even though I have always taken all of my vacation, I have consistently been rated a high performer and a reliable employee. So I'm here to tell you that you can take your vacation without destroying your reputation at work. But there are some things that you can do or put in place to make sure that your vacation really is a positive experience for you and all of your coworkers. According to a study done by Project Time Off, over 95% of Americans understand the value of vacation and taking a little bit of time for yourself, playing, breaking routine, just getting away, even if you love what you do. But the fact of the matter is, even though the majority of us understand this, there's a huge percentage of people that aren't taking their time. And there's a few core reasons for this. The first reason is that many workers have this perceived pressure to be at work. They see their managers and their coworkers plugged in or at their desk all the time, and they feel like because that's what they're seeing others do, they have to do that too. And you guys all know the jumping off the bridge analogy, so I'm not going to give that to you, right? Just because someone else is doing it doesn't mean you have to be that way too. I'm not saying that there aren't times at work when you really do need to step it up and go the extra mile. What I am saying is that when it's time for your time, you need to make that a priority too. So the first thing you can do to make your vacation time more palatable, let's say, to your organization is to schedule it in advance. Okay, so not just put it in your own schedule, but block off your calendar at work. Most of us now are using electronic calendar systems where we can all see time and schedule meetings. If you schedule it in advance, then you won't have to go back and cancel and reschedule later. So people don't get the feeling like you're backing out or like you're being gone is stopping progress, right? It's about setting the right expectation. First of all, that you won't be there. And second of all, that you won't be checking in. So you need to set that expectation in advance. And that way, the rest of your team or your organization can schedule around that time. The second reason that is very frequently given for not taking time off is that there's nobody there to do your work. So if you're gone, you come back to a mountain of work and you just have to live with those consequences. Well, I guess what I have to say here is this is something that a manager of mine said to me is, Jill, nobody dies if your work doesn't get done. And I think for most of us, we can say that about our professions. And my guess is that even brain surgeons have someone who can back them up when they're gone. So while, yes, your work may build up, I think the consequences to that generally are fairly small. The next thing you can do is to ask for help. Okay, if there's work that needs to be done or certain pieces of your job that need to be done and someone needs to be there, find someone to help you out. If you don't have someone on your team, buddy up with someone else in your organization who's in the same position you are. At least they could perhaps take a couple of emails or engage someone else while you're gone so that maybe these important processes or tasks do get done. And then you can do the same for them and you both get a chance to take some time off. So it's really about partnering up. If you're at an organization that's giving you vacation, chances are good there's somebody else there who can help you. And another piece to that is, if it really is too difficult to find somebody who can cover for you for, say, a week, start by taking smaller chunks of time. You don't have to be gone for a week or two to get advantages out of taking a break and taking your vacation. Start by taking a day. I mean, one of the things that I love to do is take one Friday every month as a me day. I don't schedule anything, but I don't do work. I block my calendar, I don't go into work, I don't check emails, and I just take that day to do whatever I want to do for me. And most of the time, being gone for one day, and I happen to know Fridays is a good day not to be at the office, I don't usually come back to a crazy mess when I get back. The third reason that people frequently don't want to take their vacation from work is that they're afraid they're going to miss valuable face time with leaders or executives. And I guess what I have to say to that is, if you're feeling like you're not getting enough face time, it's not because of the vacation that you are or are not taking. Is if you're worried that not being at your desk every hour of every day when there's potentially a manager or an executive who's going to be around, or even a coworker, what I would say is think about making FaceTime deposits along the way, right? Take a little bit of extra effort to know when your manager or a particular executive that perhaps you want to influence for a promotion or something later. Know when they're in the office. Stop by, say hi, talk to them. Go out of your way to make some contact with them on a regular basis when you're there. And then for those few days when you're not, it's not going to be noticed, right? So again, sort of make some deposits into your FaceTime bank in advance, and then enjoy yourself when you are taking your own time. Being overworked has become a status symbol. I can't tell you how many times I hear people talk about all the extra hours they put in at work, or why they can't be gone because things are going to fall apart or something very important is just not going to get done. And I think that this is a cultural phenomenon, or a perceived cultural phenomenon. And I say perceived because so many people, they believe that they can't take vacation, or they believe it's going to be viewed negatively by their coworkers or management, so they don't even try. And what I'm encouraging you to do is to give it a chance. So I've used these techniques successfully in my corporate career, and I've started to work variations of them into my own business as well. So I really encourage you to take a chance, give it a try, and if you haven't been taking your vacation, do it. And if you find that your greatest fears come true and your being gone is perceived negatively and no one does your work and you really come back to a disaster and craziness, then I would encourage you to rethink your job and not rethink taking your vacation. So I hope these tips were helpful, and I'd love to hear from you about your experience with taking time off. So please leave your comments below, whether you are someone who takes all of your vacation or maybe hasn't been taking all of your vacation. And let me know what your experiences are, and if you're going to try taking some extra days, kudos to you. Tell me what you're going to do to make that successful. All right, thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you again next month.